So I want to do an exercise to help us bring mindfulness into our everyday life. The sitting, breath meditation, and the body scan are what we might call formal mindfulness exercises. They're removed from our everyday life. We can think of them like we think about lifting weights at the gym. Right? This is a activity that's removed from our everyday life, but it gives us a ability that we can then use in our everyday life. So what we want to do is bring that ability we've been working on through sitting meditation and breath meditation into our everyday life. And we want to remind ourselves why we want to do this. Right? When we're in the present moment, when we're mindful, we're not ruminating about the past and we're not worrying about the future. So a lot of our suffering drops off because a lot of our suffering consists in ruminating about the past and worrying about the future. And also when we're in the present moment, we are experiencing life as it happens. And it's only by being there in the present that we can really get joy and happiness out of life. If you're not in the present moment, you're missing life. So mindfulness in our everyday life will decrease suffering and increase happiness. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to start small. Right? We'll start with the raisin. And these are actually craisins. So raisin, craisin, you can do this with other food, but we'll start with something simple and natural. I prefer raisins and craisins to chocolates. And again, try this at home while I'm doing this. Grab something that you can work with in the same way. So we take this raisin, craisin, and first thing we do is look at it. Notice its physical characteristics, its color. It's kind of a purple, dark purple, but has light shades in it. It's crinkly, a very odd shape, very odd texture. You might think of how you might describe this to somebody who's never seen a raisin. And you can feel the texture, you can feel the kind of slippiness and stickiness of it. If you want, you could also do a little hearing test on it and squeeze it, and you kind of hear a squish and come back. You take it to your nose, and you can get a aroma of kind of a sweet, almost a little sickly sweet aroma to the craisin. Finally, then we're going to take it up to our mouth and not put it in yet. We're going to rub it across the lips. At this point, we get a faint taste of sweetness. Right? The saliva from your mouth begins to break down the food, whatever's around the raisin. And finally, we're going to hold it between our teeth for a second, like that, without biting down, and kind of anticipate. Picture yourself holding the raisin, sense the urge to bite down on it, and hold off on that. Just hold that urge for a second, and then bring it into your mouth and put it to one side. Don't bite it yet. Have the saliva start to break down the sugars and taste it. Rub it around the tongue, more taste. You can rub it to the other side as well. Bring it over there. Again, keep sucking on it. You can get flavor out of that raisin. And finally, holding it between one side of the teeth, take a bite. Cut it in half if you can, but bite down and hold it. And you can feel the flavor surge come out of the raisin. And bring it over to the other side. Do the same thing, and you can feel it start to break apart in your mouth. And then chew slowly, a little bit down, more at one time, more. And it begins to fill your mouth. Notice where the raisin is, what side of the mouth it ends up on. Notice as it goes down, really sense the flavor, the sweetness on the back of the tongue. A few last remaining bits as they sneak down the back of the throat, and wash your mouth out for a second. So what did you notice? What do we notice? Well, I think a couple of things. First, if you were doing the exercise, you were probably not ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. You're focused on the present moment, on eating the raisin or whatever it is you were eating. Right? So the past and the future kind of dropped off and you were in the present moment. Second, you could really taste that raisin in a way we don't often taste our food. Right? We eat so fast that we have a mouthful and we have a fork in the food and we just want to get it down. In the meantime, we're talking or looking at our phones or listening to music or TV. We're not savoring our food as we eat. And bringing mindfulness to our everyday routine eating allows us to savor our meals in a way we generally don't. It's sort of a metaphor. By bringing our mindfulness to the present, we can savor life in a way that we often do not. So bringing mindfulness into, this was a mindful eating exercise, but bringing mindfulness in any routine activity, really into any activity, allows us to, as I said, decrease suffering and increase happiness. And this is what we do when we bring mindfulness into the world. Now, you can do it with, and I want me to do exercises, doing with any routine activity. As I said, ultimately any activity, but we'll start with the routine ones. It's a good place to begin the training. You can do it taking a shower. I mean, think about how many times that you shower and you may not even remember, as I said, washing your hair. Bring it into brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, getting dressed, doing the dishes, doing any kind of menial cleaning are great ways to begin to bring mindfulness into our everyday life. You want to notice that there is a direct parallel between what we do with the sitting meditation or the body scan and what we do with these routine activities. Right? In the body scan and the sitting meditation, you focus on the present moment, you watch your breath, pay attention with your breath, your mind goes away, and you bring it back to the present moment. It's the same thing with the mindful routine exercise, the mindful eating exercises, is that you are focusing on the activity, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, eating your meal. Your mind might wander and you bring it back to the routine activity, to the present moment. So this is the way we bring mindfulness into our everyday life. We start doing it with these routine activities. It's a great way to build up our mindfulness, and it's a great way to develop an appreciation of the present moment. And so what we'll be doing is some routine exercises where we can bring this ability of mindfulness and work on bringing it into our everyday life.